off, just talking about your character.
Alright, so I play Mac. How I would describe Mac, she's foul-mouthed, she's a little bit too assertive at times, she's brazen, and she's just this guarded little street tough. And she's come from a rough home, but underneath it all, she really has a heart of gold, and she's a much more complex creature than she lets on.
I would say Tiff is an encyclopedic, curious fireball, because she always wants to know more and learn more, and I love how she applies her encyclopedic knowledge to how she lives in the world and to how she uses technology and how she applies her technology to her relationships. And she's kind of lonely at first because she's the only child and her parents work all the time. So meeting these girls really helps her, and it forms that, it fills that hole in her heart, and they form that familial relationship. And I think Tiff's great. I love her.
I love Tiff too.
I love Mac too.
I've seen the first 2 episodes, and they're fantastic. I'm totally hooked. I had to stop so I could come down here. But your characters are at odds at first. You're very antagonistic towards each other. So can you talk about, I know one of the overarching themes of the season is friendship and how that grows. So can you talk a little bit about how your characters kind of grow towards each other?
Right. So I guess for Mac, she hasn't been around many other girls her age. Especially not girls like Tiffany or like KJ or like Erin. And I think she has a pretty low tolerance for them at the beginning. I think she's pretty much over it right when they start out together. But they're a really positive influence on her. Being around them has allowed her to let her guard down a little bit and actually sort of be herself more. And I think that's a really beautiful relationship that they formed. All of their arcs are just beautifully done.
I would say that they really bonded through those shared experiences that could be considered traumatic. I think being in those high-pressure situations forced them to realize that there are similarities between the 4 of them. And I really think that led to the original spark of their friendship beginning. And then, spending time with these girls throughout these experiences really helped solidify that bond, I would say.
So, obviously, the show takes place before high school. How did you guys try to embody any of these relationships in our time when, I was self-motivated all the time?
I really tried to get into how Tiff would think about the 80s, so I researched movies that I think Tiff would like Berry Gordy's The Last Dragon and Coming to America, and then also music that Tiff would like Salt and Pepper, like Twist and Shout, or When Doves Cry by Prince, just trying to get into the Tiff mindset, and then of course asking my parents, because they were alive in the 80s, so yeah.
And I would say for Mac, as far as embodying somebody, I guess, who grew up in the 1980s, I think it's really easy to just look at what somebody's wearing in a Polaroid photo, and that's all they are. It's just the style or the trends of the time. And I think just really getting into who they are as a person, because people are always the same throughout history, and just knowing who they as an individual are, who they are is the most important thing to me. And I also, of course, listen to the kind of music Mac maybe would, just kind of understanding her as a character.
When KJ rescues Mac and you're on the bike and you do the embrace, obviously there's a lot of subtext under that. There's a lot of so she feels like she's losing by going back to herself. Can you talk about that, and then Camryn, can you talk about the connection you have your character has with Larry, in that you guys are someone who really kind of are concerned with the actual what's going on, trying to get to the bottom.
Well, Mac is sort of in the unique position of not necessarily wanting to go back. She has a really rough life back at home, and she figures the future can't be any worse than what I'm already dealing with. And I just think that throughout the journey, Mac encounters somebody that she once knew. I don't want to give anything away, but really just building on that relationship, and finally she's found something that she's really comfortable and happy with. And of course things happen throughout the show. I don't want to give anything away. I'm just trying to tiptoe around every single plot point possible. But I guess just for Mac, she's had it rough, and she's worried that it's going to be like that for the rest of her life. So she's just trying to cling to what she has in the moment. I'm sorry, I didn't get specific at all. I'm just trying to jump around it.
Well done.
I would say for Tiff and Larry's relationship, Tiff is not used to really being understood, because I would say she's very intelligent and she is very encyclopedic, and people don't really understand that sometimes, and especially not the whole time war, time travel thing. So when she meets Larry, it's this instant like, wow, somebody finally understands me moment, and I think that makes them instantly close. And yeah, I think there is a twist that happens in the show. You have to watch and see what that is. But but I think just have that bond with Larry made it gave Tiff that sense of, wow, somebody finally understands me. And I didn't spoil anything, so I think I'm gonna stop there where I'm gonna stop when I'm ahead.
All right, so I'll say for Mac's journey, you're gonna have to watch and see what happens with Mac. But one plot point that I'll talk about that is explored is Mac and her brother are sort of emphasized in the show, and the actor who played Mac's brother, Cliff Chamberlain, was such a generous and giving actor. Just being in a scene with him, he said, "You just do your thing." He took certain mannerisms of mine, and he did that to kind of give that sibling relationship. He really just dove into it, and it was an honor to work with an actor of his caliber.
Yeah, the question was how our real life was like our characters meet relationships.
Your adult self.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, Sekai was awesome. Sekai played older me, and she would come over sometimes, and we would like have dinner, and then we would work through our scenes and really get to know each other because we were playing the same person, right? And so we would come up with these mannerisms that we could have in common. Like if we were drinking, we would put our thumb on the top of it. So just little mannerisms that showed that we were the same person, even though we might have looked and acted differently due to the space that has occurred from 1988 to whenever older me lives.
All right, we have a screenwriting TV show, so our question is, what was your initial reaction, your gut reaction when you first read the script to your character?
What was our reaction when we first got the audition?
No, and what was your reaction when you first read the script to your character, your gut reaction?
Ooh, I would say intrigued. I was intrigued. I wanted to know more about why Mac is the way she is and what happens to her. Just kind of those basic two things.
I had read the comic books by then, and we got the first script by itself at the first point, so I was like, wow, like she said, I need to know more, what happens to Tiff, what's going on, and then I was just really excited to be able to finally start filming this, and I just thought it was so similar to the comics, with having the little twists that weren't in there, and I just thought the script was amazing, and the writing was so beautifully done.
Right, thank you guys, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.